Hello, my amazing friends. How are you tonight? So, we're late. We're late for a very important date, but we showed up. So, better late than not, right? So, hey, Lynette, how are you? Thanks for joining us. So, I'm not sure how many people join us since we're late. They might not know we're even on, but that's okay. Replay. So tonight's project, hey Leanie, is, so this is one of those Kimberbell blanks. And I thought, because it's kind of a manly thing, right? It's kind of an army green and it's wool. So I thought, well, what would men use this bag for? And shaving stuff probably. But I thought, how about for their manicure stuff? So I thought, well, what's a cute way of making it look like it's for a man, but it's a manicure? So I went online and looked for the copyright-free emblems for the man's bathroom, and then so it sounded out, Man-i-cure. So anyway, that's what we're doing. So we're going to talk tonight. I'm going to use the scanning mat, the standard mat, heat transfer vinyl, the vinyl blade, and the universal pin holder. So first of all, we're going to scan in our design. Now this man is much bigger than this man, but we're going to size him. And maybe so, Lynette. They're mad at us. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to put this in my scan mat. And I believe, oops, that's not right. Here we go.
You got this camera pointing to the machine here.
Okay. There we go. Okay. Here's my scan mat. So first we're going to scan this guy in. And we're going to save him to the machine. Hey, Mickey. Yes, we are here. How about that? So I'm going to go over to the scan and cut. We're a little shy of a camera, so you might not be able to see everything. But the most important part is scanning what we're doing on the screen of the scan and cut. You don't necessarily need to see a drawing and cutting, right? And we all know what it looks like when I scan my background. So we aren't going to worry about that. We're going to do what we can do with what we have. Hey, Betty. All right, so Selena kindly change cameras for me. I'm going to get my stylist out because I can't do anything about my stylist. All right, so what you can't see is I'm loading the map, but we've covered that quite a bit. So we all know how to load the mat. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm actually going to go back a screen because I actually want to scan. And what I want to do is scan to cut. I'm not going to directly cut this, so I'm not going to do direct cut. That's if you have something, like let's say you printed out something on sticker paper and you want to cut the stickers out. So no point in saving it to the machine, you're just going to direct cut it. So, and then this is to scan. If you don't have a scanner, I guess you can use that to scan your documents, but oh, you were looking in the IQ group. Okay, so we're going to do scan to cut. And I'm going to go ahead and start. And it's going to give me a message to move my lever, which is on the left-hand side as you're facing the machine. And it wanted me to lower it to 2, so I did. And I'll say start. Ouch. So it's scanning. Yes, Doris, better late than never, right? Better late to the party than not showing up at all. Okay, so there's our scanned image. Now in this case, I am just going to cut the outside. This is to cut the outside and inside, and then this is to cut overlapping. So I'm going to pick this guy. And then, now see, I'm using a scan mat, so it's nice and clean. But you don't have to use a scan mat. You can use one of your other mats, but then you're not going to have a very clean image. It's probably going to have a lot of stuff in the background because, our mats are not the cleanest. So I'm going to draw it in. This is really a clean image, so it's not too bad. So I'm going to say preview. And it looks good. So I'm going to say OK. That's processing. Now here's where we're going to save it. You could save it to a stick or to your machine. I'll save it to the machine. My machine at home has quite a bit of stuff on it, so I've had to delete so that I could. Okay, so it's saved. So we're done scanning. We're done here. So I'm going to just hit my home key and say OK, because it's OK, delete all patterns. Now I'm going to take my standard mat out. I'll go back to my overhead side. I took my scan mat out. Not my standard mat. My scan mat. Run it all over all kinds of stuff. It's okay. So we're done with this. So we can put our scanning mat aside. And we have our standard mat. And I have my white heat transfer vinyl. So the shiny side goes to the mat. And I forgot. Do you mind grabbing me the brayer? Sorry. We're like, are we doing it or are we doing it? So I didn't actually pull all the tools I should have. My fault, my fault. This cable on way so I don't run over it and make it worse. All right. So thank you so much. My lovely assistant got me. Yes, Doris, if you're going to scan, the scanning mat's much better. Mucho better. Because, you can work with other mat, but you're going to have to do some futzing around to get it. So you can see I have a much bigger piece of vinyl on here than I need. That's okay. That is all right. Because I'm going to actually tonight, I think I'll do the weeding box that we've talked about, but we haven't done. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and design it, but I saved the design to stick, and I'm going to actually cut from what I saved. Because the reason for that is I want it to be the same size. But I'll show you how to design it, and then we'll actually cut from my file. Is that agreeable with everyone? Oh, thank you, Doris. You like my bracelet? Guess what? I made it. So this part is cork, and I cut it on the Scan and Cut. So I made it. Thank you, Doris. So, what was I going to say? I made it. I don't like anything tight around my wrist, but it's a little big, so I'll probably make it a little smaller. It's very sparkly, huh? Very blingy. Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, here we go. So let's get to designing. Thank you, Lynette. Well, so what was made with the Scan and Cut is the cork part. This is a rhinestone applique that I bought. But I don't think it's hand beaded. I don't know how they did it. Anyway, here we go. Let's go back to camera 3. I should teach a class, shouldn't I, Doris? Stay tuned. All right, here we are, my friends. I'm going back to the machine. I'm actually going to just stand up rather than trying to roll this chair back and forth. It's too much. Too much. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to retrieve our man. And he's on the machine. And Selima doesn't have too much on her machine. What is that? Oh, I remember what that is. I'll have to show you guys how to trash this stuff. Here's a man. So we're going to bring him in. We aren't going to worry right now about the size of him. And I'm going to move him aside. Oops. Uh-oh. He lost his head. He's the headless man. So you know what we're going to do? I'm going to actually go into edit. I forgot to group it. Trash this guy. Okay. Trash his head. Okay. And I'm going to go back and retrieve that again. Sorry. Let's go to the machine. Learn from my boo-boos. All right. We're bringing him in again. We're saying okay. And before we do anything, we're going to go to edit. The selection tool. I'm going to select everything. Say okay. And I'm going to go to object edit. And this is my grouping box. So I'm going to group him. There. Now I can move him around and he won't lose his head. Yay! So, yeah, he's a headless horseman. That's right. Okay, so now we're going to say okay. And now it's time to add our text. So we're going to say okay. We're going to say add pattern. We're going to go to the font. And I just wanted it to be a plain plain block type font. Okay, so the first thing I did was I brought in the dash. So I'm going to go to 1, I'm going to bring in my dash, and then I did a space. Then I went to back to the alphabet, and I went to lowercase, and I said I, and then space, another dash, put in the dash, a space, back to the alphabet, back to lowercase, and then I said cure, C-U-R-R-E, E. There we go, and okay, and set. So now we have our man, and we have our I cure. All right, so let me go ahead and edit and select all, because this way I'm going to size it. I'm going to say okay and object edit and group it. Now we can ungroup it later, but that's what we're going to do for now. I'm going to go back to my overhead for a second. So here's how I did it. I measured it, my bag, and I determined that it's like 8.5 inches, but you're going to have a 1/4 inch on each side for your seam allowance. And I didn't want it too close to the edge, so I decided my design could be like, I decided on 6.5 wide, and then I decided on 4.5 tall. So let's go back to the scan and cut and see how it looks if we do it that way. So we're going to let's make it non-proportional. Oops. Here's our sizing. And this is how I make it non-proportional. So I want my height to be 4.5. Oh, that doesn't look good, does it? He's getting short and squatty and not so good. So let's bring him back. There, that looks better. Okay, so let's ungroup it. And let's just select our man for now. And let's make him, let's keep it proportional. Let's make him 4.5 tall. 4.5 height. Okay, now let's go back and select everything. I just kind of played with it till I liked it, and then we're going to group it. So now let's go into sizing, and let's make it proportional and see what happens. Let's make it so, what did I say, 6.5? Now if it looks too, so the man's getting super skinny. That doesn't look right either, right? So let's take it back up. Oops. Sorry. Let's take the height back down. I'm trying to get back to where we were. I think this was like 9. So let's just see how big our man is. Okay, let's ungroup it. Let's just pick our man. Come on. Okay, so our man is 4.5, and he's basically almost 2 inches wide. And we know we want it to be 6.5. So if we make our lettering like 4.5 wide, let's make it unproportional. Let's make it 4.5. See what that looks like. That doesn't look too bad. All right. So some of this is just plain, no science, just plain. So we're going to say okay and okay. Now let's go into our move function. And let's go into our magnifying glass. So we want to make this guy closer. That looks about what I had. So let's say okay. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Let's move I-cure down a little bit. Okay, that looks good. All right. I'm going to select all again. Oops. Select all. Hopefully I'm not going too fast for you guys. Well, replay, right? Okay, let's do object edit. Let's group it. I'm just doing it for size. Perfecto amundo. I'm liking this. So you know what? I don't think I'm even going to pull up my file. I'm going to just go with it. Because if it's different, it's not going to be different by a lot. Okay, so remember, we're using heat transfer vinyl. So that means I want to mirror image it because I put my heat transfer vinyl right side down on the mat. Okie dokie, stokey. So there it is. I'm going to say okay. So now it's time to scan my background image. So I'm going to scan it. And I'm going to put my lever back up to where the default setting is because I know later it's going to ask me to do that. Now, oh, actually you can see it pretty good, but let's say you wouldn't be able to see that very good. So I'm going to go on my tools. Let's see how this looks. It looks pretty good. So I'm going to drag him up because we're going to try to conserve our vinyl, right? There we go. And say okay. And we're going to select draw. So I'm going to put in my universal pin holder with my Sharpie marker. They want a class on the bracelet, Selena. I can't believe they noticed it, right? It's so inconspicuous.
I know, right? We can't really see it on your wrist.
No, it's
so
hardly
tiny.
visible. Yeah. All right. You know, this universal pin holder is like one of my favorite tools. All right, so I'm going to take I had my vinyl blade in. I'm going to take it out. I know I'm off camera, but just take my word for it. All right. So we're ready to draw. I have my pin holder in. And remember, it's only taking 1 minute, so I know it's not somehow filled. So I'm going to say start. And here we go. We're off to the races. So I think Selena has these Kimberbell blanks on her app, I believe. They make a cute gift for a man. All right. So, good news. It's all within the vinyl. So I'm going to take my pin out. We're going to put our vinyl blade back in. Vinyl blade. And we aren't doing anything with the mat. We're keeping it right where it is because we don't want to take it out because we'll mess it up. We'll get off kilter. Okay, now we're going to go in and we're going to say, this time we're cutting. Now my half cut's on, but I'm thinking I'm going to show you guys the weeding box this time. So I'm going to turn my weeding box on and I'm going to say okay. See, it's going to put a box in right around the vinyl. So in theory I can, Leanie, unless I move the camera, I really can't show how to load the pin holder. Unless you're saying how to load the pin in the pin holder, I can do that. But yes, my half cut's on, Lynette. Thank you very much. But the pin holder itself loads into the machine just like a cutting blade. The label, brother logo's facing you. Okay, let's start. It's going to take 2 minutes. So when I go back to the overhead, great Father's Day gift. When I go back to the overhead, I will show you how to put the pin inside the pin holder. Oh, okay, Leanie. Got it. And just like that, it's done. So I'm going to say okay. I'm going to unload my mat. And then I'm going to hit home because we don't need the design. And it's okay to delete. Remember, it's just deleting it off your work surface, not off your machine. I'll just go ahead and turn this baby off. All right. Done with the scan and cut. Here's our overhead. Here is our design. Why can't we watch the process? I'm sorry, Pat, I'm short a camera. Normally we have like 4 cameras, but I'm short 1 camera. That's why I apologize. If you go back and watch some of our past videos, which are under guides, you can see the process. We've done this a number of times. Speaking of guides, so I think when you're on an iPad and Facebook, I think you see the guides tab at the top, but when you're on your phone, you don't. So let me show you. Where you can get to the guides tab. Facebook's always making changes, right? So can you see these 3 bars here? Those bars? If you hit those bars, there's guides. Oops. Yeah, guides. And that's where all the videos are stored. Okay? And then you can watch the past ones. Hopefully they're quite informative for you. And yeah. That's all I got to say about that. So I'm just taking this off the mat. And the pink tape was just to hold my vinyl. When cutting a fabric applicator as back with the steam machine, you put the fabric side down the mat and paper. So Lynette, truth be known, I have never tried it with steam machine, but what I've heard people do is they put the fabric against the mat. And if you're doing that, and if you have lettering, then you're gonna have to treat it like heat transfer, and you're gonna have to mirror image it. Or if you have if you're cutting something that mirror image is important, then you have to mirror image it because your right side's against the mat. I've also heard what people do, because that steam-a-seam, the paper kind of floats on it, right? So sometimes if you cut on the scan and cut with that, the paper's going to come loose and your fabric's going to drag. So I've heard some people use that product and then take that extra layer of paper off and then cut, so they don't have that issue. But I've never used steam-a-seam. I've used like Floriani Applicator or repositional webbing. Okay, so I'm gonna get this off the mat. Now you probably can't see it. Oh, hot fix, that's the same. I think it's the same. Probably really can't see it, but there's a weeding box. The weeding box is here. So if I fold back my vinyl, you can see it, right? So what you can do is, you see that weeding box, you can cut your vinyl around that weeding box. So I'm just cutting right. I can see, I know you guys can't see it, but I can see the general lines of the weeding box. So I'm going to just cut on those general lines. I could just pull back the vinyl. And this way, I didn't waste any vinyl. And the transfer sheet's still attached to it. So here we are. There's kind of a glare. There we are. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our weeding tool. We're going to pull back one corner. And we're going to weed our excess. Now, if you wanted to be real conservative, you could take a scissor and cut this and save that. Just like this. Because you know, sometimes you just have little itty bits you're gonna do. And the same here. You could cut this. And then you can save that. Sometimes itty bits. You know, like if you're doing a word or something, this would be enough. And because our scan and cut scans, we can make use of those itty bits very easily, right? That's why we bought the scan and cut, because it scans. So I'm just taking my weeding tool, oops, and then I'm pulling back just the vinyl. So let's keep going. Lots of times I like to weed from the bottom up on letters. I don't know why. You'll find what works for you. But this trick about drawing at first is super duper cool. Thank you, Salima.
You're welcome, Lynn.
See, it's you know, and you guys, you probably know some hot tips too. Just let us know. We are open to hot tips. That's why we call it tips and tricks, right? So, like I said, what I did was I just went out and grabbed a copyright free picture of the man that's usually on the man's bathroom. And I actually took it to publisher. And then I printed it. And then I took that print out and took it to my scan and cut and scanned it. And as you can see, you can resize it. It's no big deal. Hey, how are you, Facebook user? I don't see your real name. I see your alias. All right, there we go. Is it the same size? It seems a little bigger. No, looks like about the same. So the spacing's a little different, but no matter, right? So I'm not going to fuse it tonight. I'm going to just show you. So we would just put this on our little bag where we find it very pleasing. And we would take it to an iron and iron it on. And generally, the vinyl is going to have instructions. Like it'll say medium hot iron for 15 to 20 seconds. Oh, Publisher is
Part of Office.
yeah, it's part of
Microsoft
Office. It's a what do you call that?
It's like an oh my goodness.
It's the software, and use it to do publication like documents, like if you're doing a presentation. I personally use it when I'm writing instructions for the classes. I use Publisher. So what I'll do is go home and heat set this, and it'll be all set for a present.
Very
And the
cute.
size isn't that big a difference on it, so who cares? If the guy's looking at that close, I'll take it away from him. Okay, here's our pin holder. I wonder if we turn off a ring light.
You need to turn off the classroom light.
Oh, okay. We're gonna turn, there's a little bit of glare. There we go, that's probably better, the camera's adjusting. Okay, so this is the stand. You put your pin holder in the stand, and the object is, thank you, Lynette, the object is for your pin to touch. You can see where the black mark is, for your pin to touch. And this part of the pin holder, yes, it was a Kimberbell blank, lifts up and turns. So if I go, now it's opposite, usually lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, right? Not in this case. This case, lefty-loosey, as I'm looking at it, lefty-loosey. Yeah, you don't really need it, Mickey. You can probably bring it into like Adobe or something that's free.
Or even paint. You can bring
Yeah,
it in
you
paint.
can bring it into Paint.
Paint is free.
I'm
and
just
you can
used to,
resize.
yeah, Paint's free. Yeah, you could bring it into Paint. So now it's on the loosest setting, the pin holder. It's hard to see. Let me see where my camera is. The pin holder is on the loosest setting. So what you do is put the pin holder in the pin in the little stand. I mean the pin holder in the little stand. Stick your pin in there till it touches the bottom. And then it's a little awkward. Then we're going to turn this, as I'm looking at the pin holder, I'm turning it to the left. And then I just want to make sure that pin's not going to move around. And the pin was touching the bottom, so it's still a little loose. Mine might, I've used mine a lot, so mine might have loosened up a bit over time, but it's good enough. It's not going to bounce around in the machine. Does that answer your question, Miss Leanie? So hopefully next time we meet again, when we meet again, hopefully we'll have all our cameras back up and running. Our technical support was here earlier, and they got us up for tonight. So
We did a temporary fix just to get us
tempo
through
fix.
today.
Yeah, we wanted to come to you live tonight. So there's our little project again. So, you can use this for different applications. It doesn't have to be manicure. You can go out and find some cute images and have fun with it. So that's it for tonight. Any other questions? Perfect, thank you. No wonder I wasn't doing it right. Didn't use, oh yeah, Leni, yeah. The stand makes it at the optimal position. So those clever people invented it, so we have to use it right, correct? Anyway, that's it for tonight. And thanks for joining us late. Sorry about that, but like our dear friend Doris said, better late than never. So, was it say something about something about dinner? You can call me late for dinner, but don't not call. I don't know. Anyway, that's it. Oh, thank you for missing us.
That was Lynette who said that. We will be on Friday.
Oh, they'll be on Friday.
Yep, Leanie's gonna do the Kimberbell.
Jamie, definitely replay. And also remember, go under guides, and there's all our past videos. I need
This
to.
is what she's gonna do
Oh,
on
yeah.
Friday. We can show that.
This is our Friday Fun Day project. This is a Kimberbell Design of the Month, I think.
Yep.
Yay! Yeah, we're glad we're back too. All right, my friends, that's all I got for tonight. Thank you for joining us tomorrow night. Not tomorrow night. Sorry. We're going to get back with it soon, though. Alrighty, you guys take care. Thanks for joining us. And we'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye, everybody.
Bye.